So, you guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that gumbo is what made me sick. I told you all I called the health department. Um, it says, "Good morning, Erica. This is Justin with the Houston Health Department. I was calling to give you an update on the complaint filed against Mama Tina's gumbo at the rodeo."
So guys, this story took a turn that I don't think anybody was expecting. What started as a simple food launch has now turned into controversy, public backlash, and now people are even questioning what's going on behind the scenes between Tina Knowles and her daughter Beyonce. And trust me, it didn't happen overnight. At first, everything actually looked like a success story. Tina Knowles, a woman known for her elegance, business mindset, and being part of one of the most powerful families in entertainment, decided to step into the food world. Not just any food, but something personal. We're talking about her Louisiana-style gumbo, something she's been mentioning for years. Something tied to family, culture, and tradition. So when she finally brought it to the public at the Houston rodeo, people showed up, and I mean really showed up. Lines were long, cameras were out, social media was buzzing. But here's the thing, that hype, it didn't last long, because almost immediately the conversation started shifting. At first it was small comments, people saying it's not seasoned enough, it tastes watered down, something feels off, nothing too serious, just typical food criticism, right? But then it escalated. Suddenly reviews weren't just negative, they were consistent. And when multiple people start saying the same thing, that's when the internet starts paying attention. Some even question the preparation process, especially after Tina mentioned that the gumbo takes up to 16 to 18 hours to cook. Now for people who actually know cooking, that raised eyebrows, because seafood gumbo, if overcooked, can lose texture, flavor, and quality. So now the conversation wasn't just does it taste good, it became is this even being prepared properly?
Oh my God. This tastes like water that they added some. You know the seasoning for noodles? That's what it tastes like, the noodle juice. It is bad. Oh Lord, please, I can't. All right, I gotta go.
It stink. It smell like burnt fish stuff. Like burnt fish stuff with gravy.
I like to, but the smell is
I can't even go through with taking a real take.
And that's when things got serious, because reports started circulating that some people felt sick after eating the gumbo. Now, to be very clear, not every claim online is verified, but when enough people start sharing similar experiences, it creates concern. And that concern is what eventually led to something major, an inspection. The Houston Health Department stepped in. And according to reports, the gumbo stand was temporarily shut down due to violations related to food handling and preparation practices. That's where everything changed, because now this wasn't just about taste anymore. This became about safety. And once something crosses into that territory, public reaction becomes a whole different level. People started asking questions like, where was the food being prepared? Was it stored properly? Was the process transparent? And based on what was being reported, there were inconsistencies between the approved setup and what was actually happening behind the scenes. Now here's where the story takes a more unexpected turn, because instead of staying quiet or addressing the situation in a controlled way, reports suggest that Tina Knowles pushed back, and not just at the situation, but at the criticism itself. And this is where Beyonce gets pulled into the conversation. Because according to the narrative circulating online, there's speculation that Tina expected more visible support from Beyonce during the backlash, whether that means public promotion, a statement, or simply using her influence to shift the narrative. People are now questioning why Beyonce remains silent, but here's the reality. Beyonce has built her entire brand on control, privacy, and strategic silence. She doesn't respond to every controversy. She doesn't jump into every situation, even when it involves people close to her. And historically, she's known for letting situations play out without direct involvement. So now people are divided. On one side, you have those saying family should support family, especially publicly. On the other side, you have those saying Beyonce is protecting her brand, and that comes first. Meanwhile, the damage to the gumbo brand, it's already happening. Reports suggest that after reopening, the crowd isn't the same. The excitement has cooled down, and instead of long lines, there's hesitation. And this brings up a bigger conversation, because what we're really seeing here is something deeper than just one business attempt. This is about the power of celebrity influence, the risks of attaching a famous name to a product, and how fast public opinion can shift. One moment people are curious, the next moment they're cautious. And honestly, this situation might have been avoidable, because with a name connected to someone like Beyonce, the expectations are automatically higher. There's no room for mistakes, no room for inconsistency, and definitely no room for safety concerns. Now the big question is, can Tina Knowles recover from this, or has the damage already been done? Because in today's internet culture, reputation spreads fast, but rebuilding it, that takes time. The media response to this situation has been fascinating to watch, not because of the gumbo itself, but because of what it represents in the broader landscape of celebrity culture, branding, and public trust. Across blogs, social platforms, and commentary channels, the conversation quickly moved beyond simple food criticism and evolved into a layered discussion about credibility, influence, and accountability. One of the most notable patterns in media coverage is how quickly the narrative escalated from curiosity to skepticism. Initially, outlets framed the story as a feel-good moment, a well-known figure stepping into a relatable, culturally rich business venture. That angle carried a sense of authenticity and nostalgia, especially with the Louisiana roots attached to the recipe. However, as negative reviews began to surface, the tone shifted almost immediately. Media platforms thrive on momentum, and in this case, the momentum was driven by contradiction, the gap between expectation and reality. The idea that a product associated with such a high-profile family could receive such mixed reception created a compelling storyline that outlets could not ignore. Another layer of media reaction focused heavily on the health department involvement. This is where the situation moved from entertainment into seriousness. Once regulatory concerns are introduced, the narrative naturally gains weight because it introduces the concept of public safety. Media outlets tend to amplify these moments because they signal a transition from opinion-based discussion to potential factual concern. Even without definitive conclusions, the mere presence of an investigation adds credibility to the controversy. This is where the conversation becomes less about what people think and more about what could be true, which is a powerful shift in shaping public perception. Social media, on the other hand, played a completely different role. Platforms amplified personal experiences, reactions, and speculation at a much faster pace than traditional media. The algorithm tends to reward emotional responses, shock, humor, criticism, and this situation provided all three. As a result, the discourse became fragmented. Some users defended Tina Knowles, pointing out that large public events often involve multiple food sources, making it difficult to trace any specific issue. Others leaned into criticism, using the situation as an example of how celebrity influence can sometimes overshadow quality control. This divide is important because it reflects a broader tension in how audiences engage with celebrity-led ventures. There is both admiration and skepticism, often existing at the same time. From an analytical perspective, this situation highlights a critical lesson in brand extension. When a public figure enters a new industry, especially one that involves health and safety, the margin for error becomes extremely small. Unlike fashion or entertainment, food businesses operate under strict regulations and immediate consumer feedback. One negative experience can have a ripple effect, particularly when amplified online. In this case, the brand association with Beyonce elevated expectations to a level that may have been difficult to meet consistently. That association is both a strength and a risk. It draws attention instantly, but it also invites scrutiny at the highest level. Another important aspect is the role of silence as a strategy. Beyonce's lack of public response is consistent with her long-standing approach to controversy. From a brand management standpoint, silence can be powerful because it avoids escalating a situation. However, in a family-related scenario, that same silence can be interpreted in multiple ways. Some may see it as professionalism, while others may view it as distance. This dual interpretation adds another layer to the narrative, keeping the conversation active even without new developments. Ultimately, the media reaction is not just about what happened, but about what it symbolizes. It reflects how quickly public opinion can shift, how influential narratives are shaped, and how interconnected personal and professional reputations can become in the age of digital media. This situation will likely be referenced in future discussions about celebrity business ventures as a case study in both opportunity and risk. If you made it this far, you already know this story is still developing, and we're going to be watching it closely. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to Taspectrum West TV, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. And don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments because your opinion matters in this conversation. I'll see you in the next one.